Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 3rd of September 2025. Currently about 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. Okay, huge down day today in the market. Massive just dump, right? It's been a good market and for a long time and it's maybe a bit overdue, but I've said it a million times because there's been a lot of these corrections since I've been doing Breakout Wednesday, but you've got to learn to embrace these corrections, okay, and love them. Don't be scared, don't get frustrated that your account went down or you got stopped out or blah, 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 right? It's like the best athletes learn to embrace the pain of the sport and they accept it. And it's the same in investing and trading. You've got to learn to embrace the downside and the painful elements of it, and the painful elements involve losing money, but that's because this is the stock market, right? And so these corrections are always going to happen and you've got to learn to love it, embrace it, and then profit from it, right? And so how do you profit from it? First of all, for all my open trades that are just playing out, the key is to just follow the plan, right? Just keep doing what I'm bloody doing, right? I have a plan for all of them. The oil stocks Oxy's just looking awesome, isn't it? Closed on a new high last night, so I don't need to worry about that one right now. Woodside are an ex-div here, all right? So that's an ex-div day. And then, but if this keeps going down here, I'm going to get stopped out. So you just got to manage, nothing changes. You just manage your damn trades, right? You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Just manage them as per your rules. Don't overthink it, right? In terms of how else you profit from this, in my opinion, there's a few ways, right? One, you can short stuff, which probably already missed the boat, right? Maybe not. I mean, big correction goes on for ages, but the best shorts are kind of, what are you going to short now? Look, CBA is like bang, a lot of these have just fallen a lot. You need to wait for them to give actual signals. So that's hard. I can tell you now, right? It's very, very hard to short once a correction's started dumping and you're late to the party. The smart way to make money from it for long-term people is to do what we've been doing on Breakout Wednesday since forever and wait until there's pure blood on the streets and pull up the carton and load the hell up, right? And so it's what I've been doing on gear ever since I've started Breakout Wednesday pretty much, and we're nowhere near there being blood on the streets yet, okay? But this was blood on the streets, okay, well below the 200-day. Like this thing needs to crash down here and then undershoot it. Then I'd start adding, okay? So maybe this is either just a little correction that's just going to, pop down here and then blah, stuff around and go back up. Or if it really dumps, it can potentially go down here and then it's time to go bargain hunting, okay? And how do I guarantee nearly that I'm always going to make money in the long run is I go back bargain hunting on stuff that tends to always go up in the long run. Statistically, I like to go bargain hunting on things that have historically never not gone up, okay? i.e. indices and ETFs of indices, okay? And so the overall market, bet on the overall market, and generally speaking, it's very, very risky in the short term, but incredibly damn safe in the long term, okay? But it's all about timing those dumps. I didn't time this low here, but I got here, right? On this day, I thought there was enough blood on the street, bang, and then went further. But if you go back on this Breakout Wednesdays, I timed a lot of these very, very well. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's just like when there's blood on the streets, once you've been doing it for long enough, you tend to figure it out. Like you wake up one day and the Dow's down 7% and you've got 7 text messages from friends saying, oh shit, I'm going to sell all my stocks, and all the headlines are bad and there's real panic on the street, and then you need to put your adult pants on and step up and buy it, right? But we're nowhere near yet, but it's good to talk about it. And then the other way to make money, in my opinion, is to work your ass off and find strength, okay? Find the stocks that aren't going down, okay? And so let me show you some basic scans that I love doing, right? So let's just go to scans. Let's go first of all to indicators and events. So here's one I've been playing around with today. Close above the 21 exponential moving average with a relative strength above 85, okay? within 5% of the last 60 period highs, and filters, I've just put 300,000 volume, okay? Because I don't, really want to trade too much of liquid crap, right? Then do that scan, right? Okay, so we still have 89 results, all right, on the ASX, so 89 stocks that are doing that much volume, that are still above the 21 exponential. Scroll through it, have a look, see if there's anything setting up, any bases there that you like, right? Do that every day as market corrects, because this is like, it's a cheat, right? The market's dumping and you've got stocks at a base in with blue sky. That is just the best signal, really, in the history of signals, okay? And I've said it a million times, like whenever market's correction, we usually on Breakout Wednesday always find stocks that haven't corrected and they're sitting in tight bases. And then when that market turns, those stocks are leaders. And it's the same as everyone that's read the Davis book, the Nick Davis book, the classic one, right? That, he talks about back in the 1960s about there being this mini bull market and how some stocks resisted it. And then at the end of the mini bull market, those stocks were leaders. And it just has been happening for hundreds of years. It's going to keep happening. So that's one scan. The other scan is Davis. Okay, so I'll just do my old Davis. Okay, but I've added a few little filters here. Let's just show you. Close above the 200. I don't really want to see any stock below what's 200. The relative strength above 70. I don't want to see any crap that's lagging the markets. And then on the ASX, obviously. Okay, so let's just do that one. All right, and the results come up. And so, there's a bunch of data. There's 86 Davis boxes, so scroll through it in your own time. BCI is still in there. You got, I've got the on-balance volume on there at the moment. See how it's just fading off. Okay, I don't really give that too much weight. I just tend to keep an eye on it. Stocks tend to bottom when the on-balance volume looks really shit and strong, right? Shit and weak. A lot of boxes in there. I just did that. I really just did that scan to show you just, the importance of just doing your regular scans, looking for stocks that are resisting the downturn, all right? Now, let's go back to what I'm actually looking at. They're the only two scans that I'm really doing at the moment in this week market. And in terms of setups, the only one, okay, I've talked last week about how I'm a bit heavy on Oxy. It's my biggest position in a long time. And so I'm just holding tight on it, okay? Got a good feeling it's behaving itself so far. So I'm trying to behave myself and not take too many other signals while that one plays out. But I am stalking the MMIN. Okay. Now let's just go through this in a little bit of detail, and then I'm going to piss off and get out of here. Okay. MIN. All right. Everyone knows the stories of the fraud and all the shit with the directors and the owner and the founder and blah blah blah. Right. And that this kind of sector has been out of favor for a while. Okay. Topped out in 23, early 23. Gone from 95, let's say, down to 13. Okay, long-term shareholders, that would have been a whole lot of pain. Now, what's it done since then? Right, put in this bottom, put in a grinding kind of uptrend, and it's got resistance up here. Right, if you put this line all the way back, okay, you can see it struggled with it here, with it here, with it here. And it came up and it just pipped it by a little bit, and then it's formed this tight channel. All right. Now the moving average is all starting to come over, and I'm still starting to hop on top of it. This is really all the stuff here where I'm indicating the very early days in a trend. Okay, it's the real trend starts later. Okay, and maybe it's all setting up, and so now we've got, because there's big resistance here, kind of more blue sky above this resistance line, isn't it? Okay, there's like a bit of supply here, but it's kind of dating back about a year ago, and a lot of that resistance has been taken out. There was big also kind of support resistance zone there that got taken out. Sure, there's resistance here, but it's a long way away. So anyway, and now it's just forming this incredibly tight channel. Now, I think it's interesting to just watch this thing tighten up and just on the big market dump days, just look what it does, see if it, is on tiny volume, see if anyone steps up trying to sell it. Um, this, the biggest volume day here. I'm looking for big volume down, no, red bars on big volume. Okay, show in, sell in. And so this is a 30 period moving average on volume, this line here. I'm looking for kind of red lines, red volume bars well above that with really red bars. Okay. The most one, the closest one I can find is this one here on the 12th of August, which is a doji. So it's just as much selling as buying, really. A little bit more selling because the wick to the upside is longer than the wick to the downside. But so that's kind of that's kind of like a sit on the fence. The battle was kind of a draw sort of day. And let's look at the next biggest red volume day on the 28th of August, where we had a green candle, opened on the low, closed on the high nearly. So that's not really a bearish day at all. Okay, it's only red because it gapped down and then it closed a little bit lower than the day before, but that's okay. It's just a gap down, then it rallied all day, right? So, and then this is just super tight. And just look how low this volume is here on the 2nd of September. Today was pretty low. It's about half of its 30 period average. The day before was low. It's about 30. So we've got 3 days in a row of incredibly low volume, okay, which is awesome, all right? It's really what you want to see before a breakout. And the way I view it is like, I can have a buy stop above, for me it would be above this day here on the 29th, okay? And then you can literally have a tight stop like nearly here, right? And so it's like, okay, right, it's like a game of poker. How much do I need to risk to see if I'm right, okay? And if I get in on a break of this bar and I have a stop here, that's how much I need to risk. That's how much I need to just put into the middle of the table and say I'm willing to see the next round of cards, see how it plays out, right? And if it sucks me in and dumps, okay, that's life. Okay, there was a stock that did that this week that I talked about last week. What is it? KSL, right? Okay, there you go. Bang. That shit happens all the time. Okay, and this trading, this is the stock market. It's like the experienced people just don't care. It's like, oh, okay, that's life. That's going to happen in 1 in 20 trades or whatever. Just move on, okay? And so you always got to look at the risk. What is the risk? What is the potential downside? How much am I willing to lose? And then you plan for that, okay? And then you get into it on a good signal with the stop in place, and you follow your plan, okay? So an MIN to me is setting up. It's nearly perfect, guys. And I don't want everyone to take it now because I said it's nearly perfect. But do you remember when I was talking about shop back here on this? Where are we? Nearly a year ago. Holy shit, the time has gone quick, hey? Just go back and study it, okay? This one, okay? Because I talked about it a lot at the time, right? Don't go back and listen, or just go back and look at the damn chart. But just look at this uptrend, okay? Look how beautiful it is, and then look at this tight channel, and go back and study this volume here before the breakout. So low, and then bang, okay? Not saying it's going to do a shop, all right? But very similar setup, all right? And I just thought it was worthwhile going into MIN because the market today did that, okay? MIN did that. Okay, it doesn't mean tomorrow it won't go bang, but if it does, who cares? Because I'm not going to be in it yet until it breaks out, okay? And I just thought it'd be interesting. I just thought it was really interesting. It's the best setup I can find in the markets right now. I wanted to go deeper into it instead of just quickly scrolling through stocks and showing setups. I wanted to spend more time on one particular setup so people can kind of see what I'm doing and what am I willing to risk? Where's the stop? And then what would be the plan once I get in? That's the last bit. And that is obviously very important, okay? And for me, I would be, having a red hot crack at that, okay? It's kind of what I've been doing at the moment. It's like with Oxy. I don't have a profit target on Oxy. All right. The biggest, winning trades I've ever had is when I just don't have I don't have a limit in my place. It's like kind of someone's trying to break a world record in a race, and someone says, "What time do you think I can do?" And you say a time, and it limits them, right? They're putting a limit on themselves by saying a time, right? It's better to just say, "I think I can run incredibly quick," and then there's no limit on that person. It's the same if you go put profit targets on Oxy. Let's say it rallies up to $50. I'm like, "Oh, that's my target," and I start bailing out. Okay, then I look back at a month and it's $73. Okay, and that, if I can just be disciplined with this, then it can literally just pay my way for a long time. Okay, and so that is the goal. And the other stock was MIN, and so to be honest, I don't really have a profit target on it. I'd be having a red hot crack, trailing my stop using moving averages, trying to bag a winner, guys. Take care. Hope that was a little bit different, just diving deep into one stock. And the other thing, and what I did actually mean to talk about from the very start, was weekly charts. Okay, just I don't, because I try and keep this to 10 minutes. It's a bit long today, but every single stock you ever trade, just get the weekly chart up, right? And analyze every single bar. Okay, just have a look at the volume against the 30-week. Have a look at the green versus red bars. Have a look at the wicks. Okay, have a look at the volume increases on the wicks. Have a look at the tiny little low volume weeks. This week it's Wednesday, I know, but shit, that's the tiniest volume week, which is just perfect. The weekly charts, and this is a bit messy because there's lines everywhere, but the weekly charts are so clean, and they're wonderful things. And if you're looking at a weekly chart and you're looking at the volume, you're looking at volume dry up and volume expansion, and you really love seeing, the best uptrends have big expansion on a weekly chart. Okay, just nice volume well above the 30-week moving average in volume. And just nice. It's just so clear in a weekly chart. So anyway, I will probably next week pick a weekly chart example and go through it in a shitload of detail. I was just reading about Appium, how they got bought out. Long story, but I missed it. I'm just going to tell. I had a limit order in place. Where was it? Shit. It was during this retracement. This was my buy as much as I can in my account price, but I had another limit order here, but I missed it by a few ticks. Anyway, take over here. Shit, guys. It's a huge. Those things are painful, but you just need to move on. Take care. Chat next week. Bye.